All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about child support. And it's mainly because I just went through an updated of my child support, but I want to go into the fact of how much men have to pay and what's expected of them, and the fact that there's absolutely no accountability from the female, or I shall say the custodial parent, which in majority of cases it's female. It's the moms. And it's just the fact that how insane the system is, that basically it's 20% per, like, for one kid, it's 20%. So you get married, your wife gets pregnant, then she decides, you know what, I'm not in it anymore, I'm out, I'm leaving. So first of all, there's the whole divorce you got to get through. You got to pay money for lawyers, and then she could take half your crap, depending on how long you've been married. In Texas, I believe it's about 10 years is when they can really start. They can push for alimony. They can get half your retirement. They can get half of just everything. They're going to take you to town. And then on top of that, if you have a kid, it's 20% of your income. Which, okay, maybe if you work a minimum wage job, like that 20%, like maybe that's not quite covering what, the child actually costs. But in my mind, in all fairness, what you're looking at is you're supposed to say, yeah, that's your kid. Pay the child support and, pay your half of, what it costs for this kid to live. The argument for, well, I have to, my mortgage is, no, I don't care what your mortgage, I don't care what your rent is. You should be paying for some type of either mortgage or rent or somewhere to live, unless you're like living with a parent or something. But you're going to be putting a roof over your own head, no matter what. If you weren't able to do that, then you're basically homeless. And you probably shouldn't have custody of the kid. That's just the honest truth. And the dad is also going to have a roof over his head and he's going to provide the roof for the kid. So the whole argument of like that the child support needs to be higher because they have to maintain a place to live. No, absolutely not. If you can't maintain a place to live, if you can't even do that for yourself, you definitely can't do it for your child. And then the kid should go to the other parent. And if both can't do it, then that's a whole nother argument that maybe the kid needs to go somewhere else, right? Okay, I'm glad we could all agree on that. Both parents have the responsibility to provide a roof over the kid's head, as well as the utilities and everything that comes with it. They have to maintain that at all times, so that should not factor into the equation of child support. Okay, got that out of the way. Now let's look at, we need to find a good area where instead of saying 20% of the dad's income, he's making $50,000. We're going to take 20% of that. $10,000 is going to go to the mom. And now he makes $100,000. Okay, good. Now $20,000 gets to go to the mom. Oh, he even got a big $200,000. He's making $200,000. Well, we got to take 20%, so that's $40,000 that we have to give to the mom. No, absolutely not. You should not have to just have this blanket percentage that you are going to give to the mom just because you make more money. And it's such bullshit when you're like, well, you got to maintain that lifestyle for the kid. You don't care about your kid? I've had this argument with people where they go, you don't care about your kid? You don't want your kid to have a good thing? No, I absolutely want to give my kid amazing things. But it's hard for me to give them those things when I am having to pay a shit ton of money to my ex with no accountability. I have no idea where that money's going. But anyways, my personal story today, I used to pay, I've been paying $677 in child support every single month. Now that seemed pretty fair. I even thought it was a little much, but I would say it's fair. When you look at what it costs, I'm trying to imagine what it costs my ex in everyday living, what it costs for her possibly to have daycare, the food, anything like that, the necessities, just the bare necessities of what you have with the child. And if I'm paying half, if I'm paying half my responsibility and she's paying half her responsibility, that's kind of, around $1,300. I doubt most people pay cash $1,300 for their kid, unless you're paying some private education or private schooling, which guess what? That's not a necessity. If that's something you want to put your child in, then that's something you should probably talk with your ex about. I'm like, hey, I need help with this. I'd like to get them in this program or whatever. Or I'd like to put them in ballet. I'd like to do whatever it is. That's perfectly fine. But that's something that it should be a conversation between the two parties. It's not something that should be forced. It's not something that the that the mom's gonna say, oh well, I'm going to do all this stuff and I need all this extra money, and so the state's going to enforce it and take 20% of the dude's paycheck. So anyways, I was paying $677. After today, I will be paying $1,286. So again, I have to look at that and go, okay, that's my half of responsibility. So is my ex, is she spending $2,500 a month on our daughter? And I can wholeheartedly, absolutely tell you, no, she's not. No, she's not. She's not spending anywhere near that much. You know, judging by her very nice, expensive, like $60,000 vehicle, I would say it's probably going to part of that. But I have no idea because I have no accountability of where that money is going. Right? You see the issue here? Not only on top of that, let's go over other benefits that women have with kids. I don't get to claim my daughter as a tax write-off. My ex, however, does. She gets that money from me tax-free. Whenever they come up with 20% of your income too, it is gross. It is not after taxes. It is gross. They take your gross income, and then, you know, they don't count the 20% that the federal government takes. They don't take away the Social Security or Medicare. No, they calculate it 20% from your gross. So she gets that money tax-free. And then the state of Texas also benefits it because they get 60 cents on the dollar from the federal government for every child support dollar that comes through. And that's why they are absolutely incentivized to make child support as high as possible because they get money. So it's a bit of a rigged system here, and the father's in the middle getting screwed. So I have my child support doubled just because I got a better job and I make more money now. You know, I get screwed with that, and I get to pay more to my ex, and I don't get to take that extra money and bless my daughter with it whenever she gets to come with me. I don't get to, you know, save up maybe and take it and use it on a nice vacation to go travel and see things, right? So that upsets me because of that. Because I would like to spend money on my daughter more, but I can't. I would like to have nicer things and do things, but I can't. Just because I got a better job and I make more money, now I have to give it to her. How about we come up, and I don't understand what the problem with this. All the women and some other feminist dudes are going to sit there and call me a bad dad, saying I care more about money than my child. But I don't understand why, like, if it's all about money, then why does she get it? You know? Like, if money's not that important, then why do we even need to give it to her? I absolutely believe that there should be child support. I believe that there is some responsibility, but the fact that fathers have to fight through so much just to see their kids, and then they get raked over the coal for doing better in life. They get raked over the coals for doing better in life, getting a better job, and then they have to spend more money on taxes, more money to the ex, and it's just, they have to work and grind. It's you. I'll never ever give up on my kids, but you can actually start to sympathize with some dudes that just absolutely say, like, that, you know, maybe they live far away from their kids and the ex doesn't work with them at all. Like, I live 400 miles from my ex and my kiddo, and it's hard to get to see him sometimes. And then almost every single time that I request anything extra, when I'm going to be home, when I'm going to be where they're at, where my family's originally from, do I get anything extra? Absolutely not. I beg for it. I've for over 7 years. Every time I've done something where I've come home and I'm visiting for a long period of time, I've asked for extra days, and generally the counter offer will be, I can get an extra day if I give up 2 or 3. That's generally how it goes. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of bitter women are. Instead of wanting the kid to have a good relationship with the father, they're going to make it absolutely hell for that father to try to have a working relationship with their kids. And in doing that, fathers get so fed up, they get so frustrated, they get so demoralized, they hit a point where they're willing to just sign off their rights to their kid and go about their lives because they can't hardly have a relationship with their kid. And it's just so sad to see. I'll never ever endorse that. I'll never ever do that myself. But I can, at least, being in these situations where my ex has kept my kid from me, won't let I get one 30-minute phone call a week with my kid, or FaceTime. I've asked my kids requested to talk to me more, and I've requested that from my ex, saying, hey, she wants to talk to me more. Can we make some phone calls happen? And she says, I'm not denying her all the time. It's just we always have something going on, but not once has she ever given her one extra phone call. And this is happening many times where my one 30-minute call that I get my kid, they're saying, I tried asking mom to talk to you, and she said I couldn't. So it's little things like that. So going back, we pay child support. The women get the tax break on it. Not to mention, with my certain case, I was the designated, I've been the whole time, provider of insurance. And mind you, even if I lose my job or I'm in between jobs, I'm still forced to provide insurance during those times. So even in time when I transitioned out of the Marines and then was trying to get another job and get insurance, I was still required to have insurance. And so it's been that way for almost 7 years. And now I have my new family with my current wife, and we have a baby on the way. And my insurance is costing $1,400 a month. But now because she decided, well, I want our daughter to be under my insurance. That's what she's saying now. Because she wants that, the state of Texas looks at the fact of, well, which insurance is cheaper, and that's the one we're going to choose. That's the one that's going to get the credit for the child support. So because of that, my insurance is more expensive per person. So I don't get a credit for that insurance anymore. And so that adds on to my child support that goes towards her, which is a part of that 1286. But so now I am still a human being. I'm a man trying to move on with my life and still have a family, have a wife, have other kids. And I have to pay $1,400 a month for health insurance through the company that I work for. And I get no credit towards that counting of having insurance with my kid. She gets that credit. Now I pay extra for that. Yeah, I mean, are you starting to see where men get screwed at every turn? Like, I mean, anyone that wants to be mad at me for being mad that I'm getting drained here by my ex-wife, like, explain to me why, like, at what point does it stop? Is there ever a point to you that it becomes too much? Right? That it becomes too much. Because in my mind, I think there should be a standardized kind of number, depending on region, saying, hey, on average, it costs this much to raise a kid in Texas or in West Texas, right? It costs this much, the cost of living, the amount of food. And then they go, what is the average cost of that? And then they go, okay, here's the average cost. Now divide that in half. And that's what each parent is essentially responsible for. It's what part the father's, to send the mom, or the mom to send the father, whoever's the non-custodial parent. But we all know who is the custodial parent the majority of the time. And just because. And so it kind of goes into my second part of this rant is like, for young men, if you're going to get married, prenup, get a prenuptial agreement. And even though sometimes they don't hold up in court, but you're a lot better off if you get a prenuptial agreement. And I would ask the ladies, would you be willing to sign a prenuptial agreement where you have, everything split, and then when it comes to the possibility of children, would women sign a contract that says, in the case that a child is born, the father will be given automatic status as custodial parent, that they will be the one with majority custody in the joint custody of the child, that the child will live with the father? I ask that to women right now. Would you agree to sign that? And most of you would absolutely say no. But my question is, why is custodial parentship given automatically to you? Because that is essentially the document that men are signing whenever they agree to marriage. Whenever they sign that marriage certificate and go through it, that is the agreement that they're signing. In the case of children, the women will automatically be given custodial parental rights. That's the document that men are signing. Are women willing to sign that? And the answer is absolutely not. They will not sign that because they lose all their power. They have so much power and authority being just women, and they will never give that up. They will fight so hard to keep that. And so that's why I'm kind of making this video, just to bring some light to people. And I know there's so many fathers out there that probably have it worse than I do, but it's just, it is a struggle, especially with everything that's just going on. Like, I mean, economy's rough, and then, hey, I get it. Economy's going to be rough for my ex too. But I don't think that deserves that she gets twice as much as what I was paying. It gets down to the point, just fathers are getting screwed. And young men, if you're thinking about getting married, you should probably write a prenuptial agreement and just see if the woman would be willing to sign a document saying that they would give you custodial parental rights. I guarantee they won't, but it's a discussion we need to have. And fathers, it's something we need to start pushing. We need to start getting involved and getting loud and putting a fire under the ass of Texas legislators to actually make this more level, make this more even, where a woman just can't drain you. They just came through with a whole bunch of orders that they're going to force men to absolutely pay child support and to get a job and to do all these things. And I'm fine with that. Like I said, I think a father in this case should be paying some child support. But if you're honestly talking about more than if you're talking more than $700 to $1,000 a month, that seems ridiculous to me. That seems ridiculous, and I don't think it costs that much for a child. And if your argument is that it does, then I would say you need to rearrange some things in your life, or give your custodial, if it's that hard and it's that awful, give your custodial rights to your other partner and let them go with them. And if your custodial partner isn't that good, then man, I think you made a dumb choice of a partner of who you made a kid with. But overall, fathers getting screwed. Fathers getting screwed, getting kept from their kids, not given enough time with their kids, being drained. It is maddening. It is truly maddening. And then, like I said, no accountability. I've already come up with the idea that I'm gonna be honest with my kid as she gets older. I'm gonna give her the numbers of what I'm giving her mom, and I'm gonna say I hope that she's saving up for college, or maybe for you to have a house or account or something. And then I'm going to give my kid an option that if they want to come live with me, or she wants to come live with me when she's 12, I think 12 is the age in Texas, that they get a choice. I'm going to say, I'm not going to touch a penny. If you end up coming with me and you want to come with me, we go to court and I get you. Whatever your mom is ordered to pay in child support, I will not touch a penny of that. I'll put into an account and I'm going to save it for you. And that's going to be yours when you turn 18, where you can have a boost in life. That when you're 18, you have a pile of money that you can go to college, that you can start a business, that you can go buy a house, whatever you want to do with it. That's going to be your money that I will not touch. And that's going to be the deal that I'm going to try to get with my daughter. Because like I said, I don't think that my ex is doing that with my kid. I think she's absolutely doing whatever she wants to with that money. Because why? I mean, like I said, no accountability. But fathers, maybe that's an option that you could give your kids. That if they come and live with you, you don't touch that money, and it's theirs, and they get it when they're 18. We'll see how it works. I got some time before that point hits, but yeah, it's just, man, it's a rough day when everything else is getting more expensive, and then your child support just doubles instantaneously, and then you're still going to provide insurance because you're a good father and you're going to pay an arm and leg for that. And, they're getting to have good times off the money that you send over there and you're, struggling. But whatever. Fathers, let's start getting loud. That's all I can say. If y'all like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.